game show that has swept the nation. Then at 9:30, our buddy Steve Macy from the Showboats will join us to preview and talk about what's going on tomorrow with the Showboats and the Arlington Renegades. We'll take your calls and your texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. Obviously, NBA playoffs. Big day today with the all-NBA teams being announced, how it could affect the Memphis Grizzlies with Jaren Jackson Jr. And also the college baseball tournaments going on, the SEC. Great game yesterday between Tennessee and Texas. And some drama also in the American tournament. Unfortunately, Memphis not a part of that, but we'll give you the details later on in the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday, Elijah. How are you?
I'm feeling good. It's feeling good outside, so how could you not feel good?
Yeah, it was a drama-free night, and I know we don't talk a lot of Stanley Cup playoffs here, but there are a lot of hockey fans, and right now you got the Panthers running roughshod over the Hurricanes. They win 5-0 yesterday to go up 2-0 in that series, and the reason I bring that up is because in the NBA playoffs, you have right now an absolute domination. Oklahoma City beats down Minnesota 118-103. Yes, 2 games at home. I understand that whole thing. But it just doesn't seem like Minnesota, unless they can get their act together, is going to give Oklahoma City a run like Denver was able to in the last round, taking it to the limits, taking it to Game 7, although obliterated in Game 7. Minnesota last night, Eli, as you know, they get a big game from the Ant-Man, 32 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. But Julius Randle, who was great in Game 1, was horrible in Game 2 with 6 points, 2 of 11 from the field. And when you don't get big points from Rudy Gobert and you don't get big points from Mike Conley and Naz Reid can't find the ocean from the pier with his outside shooting and DiVincenzo's not on top of his game, you have no chance against this Oklahoma City team.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is difficult. They're going to have everybody playing well, and McDaniels had a good night. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had a good night. The Alexander family a good night.
That's true. Really good night.
But it's a bad time for Naz Reid to forget how to shoot 3-pointers. It was a bad night for Julius Randle to have his worst playoff game. And even Anthony Edwards, while he scored 32 points, just 1 of 9 from 3. I mean, they're going to have to knock down threes, and they're going to need everybody to have a chance. Again, Oklahoma City is just better than everybody. and it becomes they have these runs, and it's crazy. And while Minnesota limited the turnovers better, they only had 14 in this game. It still leads to 22 points because Oklahoma City is so great at turning turnovers into points. It just that snowball gets rolling down the hill, and it is just really tough to stop Oklahoma City. And they turn close games into blowouts in a hurry.
Yes, you mentioned the runs, and those runs have come so far in the third quarter. In the middle of the third quarter, in Game 1, it was Oklahoma City going on a 17-2 run to pretty much put the game on ice. Last night, it was a 14-2 run in the middle of the third quarter. So when Edwards goes out and Randall goes out, they just take advantage of it. And Oklahoma City goes on these runs. And like you said, they turn a miscue into points. They don't have to shoot threes. I mean, they can knock them down. But last night, Oklahoma City made 9 of 33. That's pedestrian. That's 27.3%. But they do so many things well that they don't have to have this big night where they make 23s. Unlike Boston. And we saw that in the series with the Knicks. This game, Minnesota goes 11 of 39. So it's not much better. If you're going to take advantage of something, it has to be a huge night shooting the outside rock. And they are not doing it. Effectively, 28.2%. That's just not going to cut it. Your only chance is to be making a lot of threes and not turning the ball over. But Oklahoma City, it doesn't matter. They got the mid-range game. It's not dead. The demise of the mid-game range has been greatly exaggerated because Oklahoma City is able to get dunks and layups and score in transition, hit mid-range jumpers. SGA is a mid-range jumper fiend. So I like it that even though the game has changed, the game of basketball, it's a three-point shooting game now. That's more old school stuff. Play defense, force turnovers, score in transition, get it inside, make easier or at least higher percentage shots. You got to love what Oklahoma City's doing.
Well, SGA is, again, he doesn't seem to ever miss from that 15 to 18-foot range. He gets to the elbow and is just absolute money with that. Jalen Williams early in that game was hitting everything, kept doing that little fadeaway shot, and they could not stop it. But yeah, SGA is trying to single-handedly bring the mid-range game back to the NBA. 'Cause it is just one after another with him. It's crazy how many, because again, it's a bad shot. I mean, in all levels of basketball, coaches hate those shots anymore. But SGA makes it look so simple that it's never a bad shot for him because it goes in seemingly every time.
Right. If you look at the three-point numbers for Oklahoma City, this is from last night. Chet Holmgren, 1 of 6. Jalen Williams, 2 of 6. Congratulations, Jalen. You're at the top of the Delta Pledge class. Lou Dort, 2 of 7. So the point I'm making is, it doesn't knock you out. If you just look at that box score and go, oh my gosh, they were horrible shooting the three. Well, that's not what their DNA is. They're not an all or nothing three-point shooting team. And that's what makes them so impressive. You mentioned Jalen Williams. Gosh, you talk about a Robin. He's almost Batman light to SGA's Batman. Jalen Williams, an all-star, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal. Chet Holmgren, 22 points. He was really effective, 8 of 17 from the field. And so Hartenstein doesn't have to score much. Get some rebounds, block some shots. That's what he does. Got 8 rebounds to add to his 6 points. Lou Dort doesn't have to score. He gets rebounds. He plays great defense. He got 8 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He had 2 steals. He had 9 points. And then we know how good their bench is. I mean, Alex Caruso, I had to look him up to remind myself where he went to college. I couldn't remember. And then I looked him up at Texas A&M. And he had hair. I forgot what he looked like when he had hair. And you look at Alex Caruso, and I know he's 6'5", so he's got size. So it's not one of those deals where he'd be the last pick at the YMCA. But I don't think you would be really afraid if you're playing pickup and you saw that guy until he started to play. And then you're like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, this team top to bottom, well coached. The GM is fantastic in Sam Presti. And right now, it's a juggernaut. But I compared it to the hockey because in that semifinal, or conference final, if you will, in Florida and Carolina, it's a blowout. It's only 2 games, but it's a blowout. This is only 2 games, but it's a blowout. Minnesota may get one at home, but unless I'm completely off in my analysis, or Minnesota can figure something out, and Finch is a good coach. I like him. Good players coach. I don't see how this series goes beyond 5.
Yeah,
it might be a sweep.
I don't believe there's any. Again, Oklahoma City is just better than everybody else. And that's why it was really unfortunate that the Grizzlies ended up in the 8th spot. This is the best team in the NBA. And I don't believe there's a question about that.
Yeah, no, look, it doesn't mean that if the Grizzlies played somebody else, they would have won. But yeah, it's rough to go into the playoffs, and that's the team you have to face. But they have only themselves to blame. We've talked about that ad nauseum. The Grizzlies shouldn't have been in a position where they had to play Oklahoma City, but they were. How about this, though? And I've brought this up before. Elijah, I've talked about Mike Conley. I said, Mike Conley, okay, he's not the Mike Conley of old. Still occasionally, he's knocking down a 3. Still has a pretty good percentage. He was bad shooting the ball. But for some reason, when Mike Conley's on the floor, it eases things up for Edwards. I don't know what it is. But Mike Conley was the only Minnesota Timberwolf in Game 1 to have a plus on the plus-minus. In Game 2 last night, he was the only Minnesota Timberwolf to be plus. And he was plus 14. So you tell me why that happens. Randall minus 15. Gobert minus 9. Edwards minus 22. Jaden McDaniels, who, as you said, had a big game, 22 points, minus 4. Everybody on the bench. Dante DiVincenzo was a minus 27. Naz Reid a minus 6. Conley was a plus 14. I don't know. I'm not always analytical. Like, I don't always want to just look at the numbers. You got to go gut feel sometimes. And I don't know if Mike Conley can go 40 minutes. He probably can't. He went 28. Everybody else in the starting lineup went over 30 or 30. Gobert went 30, 32 for Randall, 35 for McDaniels, 40 for Edwards. How about playing Conley a little bit more? Because there's something there when he's the only player for 2 straight games that is plus. Meaning when Conley is on the floor, Minnesota is outscoring Oklahoma City, last night anyway, by 14. I don't know. You guys are smarter than me. You tell me.
Well, first I'll tell you, plus minus is a...
I know it can be misleading.
Is a terrible stat to look at to judge anything.
Okay, maybe, but the numbers don't lie in that situation where Conley on the floor, they play better. Again, Edwards, I don't think has to feel that he really needs to be touching the ball all the time, and maybe there's a little pressure. And how many turnovers he had? He didn't have any turnovers, so he did well last night. But Conley is the calming influence. I'm not saying they're winning if Conley's playing 40 minutes. I'm not saying that. But just if I'm Finch, I'm looking at those numbers and going, maybe I need to play Conley some more. So anyway, you have that going on. And tonight you have Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It will be incredibly hard, maybe impossible, to even come close to matching the drama that we had in Game 1.
I would guess that we will not have a game that matches that. That'd be really hard to do. If they do that, then this may end up being the greatest series in the history of the NBA playoffs.
Perhaps, is it Kylie Jenner that Chalamet's dating? Hear the talk about her like she wasn't at the game, and every time she's been at the game, the Knicks have won? Have you heard that?
Got to get all the Kardashians in the building.
Well, I don't know. Some of the others may jinx it, but the Kylie Jenner thing, she hasn't lost while there. At least that's what I heard. So they need to get her back in the stands, of course, the front row, the high rent district, tonight for Game 2. But I did see the last 2-minute report. Did you guys happen to see that from Game 1?
I did not look at it.
So Game 1 between the Pacers and the Knicks, last 2-minute report. Now, it combines the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and the last 2 minutes of overtime. There were 19 missed calls or calls that whoever reviews this said that they should have made that they did not make. This does not count the goaltending, right? Because that was 2-something. It wasn't under 2. 19 missed calls or calls that weren't made in the final 2 minutes of regulation and of overtime. Again, these are the best. Tough job. The caveat I have to say every time, I know it's tough, that is too many missed calls. That is bad right there. Did it affect the game? I don't think so, but some people believe that the goaltending call, that could have been something that affected the game. I don't know. I'm not taking away from what the Pacers did. But these 2-minute reports, I don't know why they do them. It just adds fuel to the fire.
Where do you get 19 missed
I added
calls?
them all up. I read them.
If it's in the report, doesn't mean it's incorrect. There's a lot. Most of them are correct.
Yeah, I read every one of them, and it said, this guy...
There's 2 incorrect, actually. I'm looking at it right now. There's correct no call, correct no call, correct call, correct no 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 call, correct call, correct no call, correct call, correct no call, correct no call, incorrect, correct call, correct no call, correct no call, correct call, correct no call, correct no call, correct call, correct no call, correct no call, correct call, incorrect.
I read that yesterday.
There's 2 incorrect calls.
What are you looking at that I was looking at? Because when
Look
I
at
said...
the last 2-minute report. The only 2 incorrect, they said there was a... let's see, where's the first incorrect? The first incorrect is let's see, that is a Carl Anthony Towns. Where did I just go?
What the hell was I reading then? Because I was looking at that. Let me see if I can find it if I retweeted it.
Carl Anthony Towns put a hand on Neesmith's shoulder as he jumps to contest, and the illegal contact affects Neesmith's shot attempt. There was no call on that, so it was incorrect. And then the other incorrect was Bridges against Obi Toppin. Oh, that was on the Toppin dunk where that was obvious that he fouled him, and they did not call that. That was on that dunk after that, on that horrendous defensive play late in that game when they were up or down by 1. Those are the only 2 incorrects.
All right, I'm looking at it right now. I'm going to look at this during the break because when I'm reading it, to me, it said that, let me see. Okay, so like, all right, I got to look at it. I need some time to look at that thing. Okay, I might be completely wrong as far as that's concerned. Maybe I'm looking at a different thing, but right here, Naismith, player. Okay, so maybe I'm reading it wrong. Here it says, Aaron Neesmith, player, legally contests. So what are they saying? That it was a no call there? See, maybe I read it wrong that was a foul called. It says foul shooting, Aaron Neesmith, player, and then it says Neesmith legally contests Towns' layup attempt. So to me...
All you do is look at the review decision. CNC means correct no call. CC means correct call.
I don't see that. Where am I looking at it? Oh, okay, right here, review decision. Yeah, but I'm just reading... So I didn't see this where it says review decision. I'm just reading what it says. I'm thinking right here, it's Aaron Neesmith is called for a foul. So the result is a foul, shooting foul. And then it says Neesmith legally contests Towns' layup attempt. So to me, I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and that comes up with that they miscalled that one. That was a miscall. But again, I got to look at all these in any case. But still.
There's 2 incorrect calls. 2.
Well,
instead of your 19. So don't let the facts get into your argument.
Well, no, I'm just looking at it, misread it.
Don't let facts get in the way of bashing NBA officials.
They still suck. That's the bottom line. End of story. Now, last night I did feel for Scott Foster, who got slammed in the face and was bloodied a minute into the game. Mike Breen kept saying, the opening tip, and I keep looking at myself going, wait a minute, isn't the game 2-2 already? And then he realized that, it's not the opening tip. But it was nearly the opening tip. It was that close, that early, and, Foster got slammed right in the face. Who was it that hit him? Dort?
Dort.
Man, that doesn't tickle. So anyway, you got game 2 tonight. Let's see what adjustments the Knicks make. Although the Knicks, again, they gave it away. They were outplaying Indiana. We'll see if they can even the score. And I think they will. If they lose this game at home, then there's an effect of what happened in game 1. They should be ready to go. I don't think what happened, even though it was a monumental collapse in game 1, I don't think it will affect the way the Knicks play. I think they'll win tonight. I still think they'll win the series. But I shouldn't doubt Indiana. And going into the postseason, I did. I just didn't think they had enough. Well, they got enough. They got enough and then some, the way these guys are playing together. Jaren Jackson Jr. makes the second team all-defense. You called that one. I wasn't 100% sure, but I didn't think he was going to be a first-teamer. But he is a second-teamer, so good for Jaren Jackson Jr. Also on that team, on the second team, Jalen Williams from OKC. You have Zubats from the Clippers. You have Gobert from Minnesota. And you have Kamara from Portland. The first team, Evan Mobley, Dyson Daniels, Lou Dort from Oklahoma City, Draymond Green, and Amen Thompson. Thoughts?
No real surprises. And it's Oklahoma City. What they have, 4 guys, I think, that ended up getting votes, if I'm not mistaken. Jaden McDaniels is one guy that probably has a case to be on there and did not make it. But yeah, I mean, obviously the guys that are on there are all really, really good defensive players.
Yeah, so Williams and Dort were on the teams. I would imagine that you probably...
SGA was one of the He was probably fourth or fifth, I think, of the other ones that didn't make it. And then
Did Holmgren?
Case and Wallace.
Case and Wallace
got votes as well.
How about Caruso? He didn't get a vote?
I don't think Caruso was on
He
there.
only played 19 minutes per game, so he didn't qualify.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you have to play?
20.
Really? So he just missed out. I mean, I'm not saying he would have been first team, but the way he's playing right now in the postseason, he seems like he's a first-team All-NBA defensive player. And today, of course, we find out who the All-NBA players are. And that's going to be a big story here in Memphis with Jaren Jackson Jr. Will he be on the team? He's not going to be on the first team. I don't think he's going to be on the second team. It's whether he's going to be on the third team or not on the team at all. Correct?
Yep, and they will announce that tonight. I believe they announced that tonight on TNT before the games. They're going to be announcing those. And so, obviously, Jaren will be watching intently.
I'm sure he will, as will his agent. And then one other NBA note, no surprise here, David Adelman, who became the interim coach of the Denver Nuggets after the firing of Malone, is going to get the permanent job. And after the players came out and said he did a great job, just like what happened in Memphis when Jenkins was fired, Isolo got the interim job after they were knocked out from or by Oklahoma City, exit interviews and the media session. They all were glowingly positive about Isolo. You knew he was going to get the gig anyway. So I think it was a very similar situation in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, once he took Oklahoma City 7 games, I don't think there was any doubt that he was getting it. It's a weird year to see the NBA that there will only be the one team. The Suns will be the only one that actually changes coaches from the end of the season.
That is rare.
The other 4 all went with the interim coaches. So you don't see that very often, but it allows the Suns to take their sweet old time because they got no competition out there in the coaching market, so they can do whatever they want to do.
Hey, everybody, 2026 is already here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. You come out today, drive one of the all-new 26 Equinox. Beautiful vehicle. Also, those Silverados. Nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star. It's where all the Chevys are. May is your month to finance your new Silverado. You can get it as low as 0.9%. That's incredible. Your good credit deserves that, right? If you work in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare field, military, you're a teacher or recent graduate, you get an extra $500 bonus on top of all the other deals that you get at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. All-Star is every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If by chance it's not there, ask Jeff. He'll find it for you fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Wherever the summer takes you, Drew and everyone here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family happy and safe travels. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. You can also check out the vehicles online at your leisure at allstarautogroup.com. When we come back, we head up to Murfreesboro. John Varlas will join us from the Spring Fling. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Well, there's some things about the Rendezvous I'm going to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to doors. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. But we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear. Please listen carefully for our menu listing. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it back. Come see us at the Rendezvous. Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
SCO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
This traffic report on Sports 56 is brought to you by Palo Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South Palo Windows. The standard is affordable luxury.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A little bit crowded over here on Germantown Parkway right over I-40 as it gets a little bit busier southbound. Austin P getting up on that ramp to I-40, headed over towards the 101 connector right now at I-40 there at Watkins, starting to pick up, but it's moving. That's a good thing. Midtown traffic's been quiet so far on 240 up by Lamar. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in the Memphis area says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions today. They'll make your yard look really beautiful this spring and summer. 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:31 is the time. It's Friday. It's Memorial Day weekend. We got a beautiful weather day here in Memphis. I'm sure the weather's pretty nice in Murfreesboro as well. That's where the Spring Fling is taking place, and that's where John Varlos is.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlos on Daily. Check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at DailyMFN.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where the pros and preps go to get their shot on Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlos with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter for the Daily Memphian, but he's so much more. He's John Varlos. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlos. He joins us each and every Friday. He's brought to you by the great folks at Shoot 360 Memphis. Good morning, John.
Yes, indeed, guys. Good morning. Shoot 360 Memphis. The summer is almost here, and they're going to be busy all summer long with events and tournaments and things like that for youth basketball, but that doesn't mean that you can't get out there at the Cordova location and get your shots up and get better and get ready for next season, which will be here right around the corner, right before you know it. You can, parents, you can sign up for a month, you can sign up for a longer commitment, but however long you sign up for, you're going to have access to the NOAA technology that Sheet 360 uses to track your shot and provide all sorts of analytical data on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and the access to the same great coaching, the passing bays and the shooting bays, and all the fun stuff they have over there at Shoot 360 Memphis out there on Big Orange Road in Cordova. So give them a call, 901-779-3176. And when you do, please tell them that JV sent you. If you sign up online, use the promo code JV2025, and they'll take care of you, and they'll get you right and get you ready for next season.
All right, John, are you in a bone-picking mood?
Guys, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I am completely out of gas. I like to keep it 100% with you and my audience. I am pooped, and I don't have the energy to complain about anything right now. But I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you guys and recap what's been going on. But I'm going to be even more excited to get back home. That's a fact. So apologies for any apparent lack of enthusiasm on my part. It's not intentional, and it's it's just a really long week this week.
Yeah, and the weather early in the week pushing stuff back. How much did that extend your days? What was it like the last couple of days?
It really didn't. They actually had a good plan for that. The issue, Eli, is going to come into play with possibly having to stay over for one more game tomorrow in baseball. Munford is still alive in the Class AAA baseball tournament, and Eli, your guys from Lakeland Prep are they're continuing their Cinderella run. It's their first state tournament ever, and they're still alive in Class A. And because of the rain that we had here on Tuesday, that essentially just pushed the entire baseball schedule back one day. So if those teams happen to make a championship game, those games will be tomorrow morning instead of originally scheduled for today like they would have been. But other than that, yeah, everything's been on schedule. It should be no problem to get the final events in today, and we'll be in good shape.
All right, so we won't go too much in depth because so much has happened. But I'll leave it up to you to tell everybody where we're at, what has happened in Murfreesboro for local teams in our area.
Well, we had a great day on the track yesterday with Collierville girls repeating as state champions. So congrats to Coach Alyssa Seymour. That's her third state championship, 2 in a row now at Collierville, and she earlier in her career had one at Southwind. And mentioning Southwind, shout out to Coach Paul Edwards, the basketball coach over there. Good friend of mine, good friend of the show too, guys. He listens every Friday, and
nice to hear that.
And I told him I'd give him a shout out today if I remembered. So shout out to Coach Edwards. But yeah, great showing for Collierville last night. You know, they kind of pointed to this all season. Really deep team. They scored 155 points, which is close to, if not a record. I mean, that's an extremely high total for team track. Bartlett was in second place, and they were, 75 points behind. So it was just total domination for Collierville. Kari Webb, once again, was the star of the show. She won the high jump. She won both hurdles races. She finished second in the long jump, and earlier she also won the pentathlon, which counts to the team total as well. So that's 48 points for Kari on her own. But if you take out Kari's 48 points, they still won easily just because of their remarkable depth.
Where would she have finished if she was a team by herself?
Third. She would have finished third.
Jeez. That is unbelievable. God, what an unbelievable athlete. I mean, that is just crazy.
Oh, it is, Eli. And it's the second year she's done that. She got 44 points last year as a sophomore. She got 3 firsts, a second, and a third. And this year she got 4 firsts and 1 second. So, do the math. Next year when she's a senior, there's only one thing left to get 5 firsts. and that would be incredible. But, we'll wait and see if that happens. But yeah, that's the thing, just so much depth, strength in numbers with Collierville. They won a couple of relays. They won the pole vault. They won, Kari got her victories, obviously, but elsewhere, they got some second places, some thirds, some fourths, and it all adds up pretty quickly. And it was just a great showing for them.
All right, what else outside of track and field, and other things? You talked a little bit about baseball, where things stand. Baseball, softball, soccer, all those sports that are happening right now at the spring fling.
Yeah, I mentioned the baseball. It was real interesting with Lakeland's game yesterday. Guys, I mean, I know you follow baseball closely. They only had one hit. Their opponents had 10 hits, but they still managed to win the game somehow 2-1. It was kind of a crazy game. They scored, a couple of runs without even getting a hit. Walk, hit batsman, errors, and they did that and were able to stay alive. And to be at the state tournament with your first ever baseball team, the school still doesn't have a senior class. But they're 29-3. They're in the Final Four, and
wow.
And they would have to lose 2 games. Since it's a double elimination tournament, they would have to lose 2 games today to not make Saturday's final. So they're in good shape, and Munford as well. They're in the same situation. They'd have to lose twice today as well to not make the final. So good baseball from those 2 guys. Bartlett this afternoon, the boys will play for their first state soccer championship at 4:00. They're at the stadium. They beat a really good Cookeville team yesterday, 1-0. Goal from a young man named Arturo Ramirez. So good luck to Bartlett in soccer today. And then we'll also wrap up today with some singles and doubles action in tennis, and lots of kids from Lausanne will be featured in that. Lausanne won both of the team championships on Wednesday. That makes 4 in a row for the boys and 2 in a row for the girls. So Lausanne's turning into a little bit of a powerhouse there in tennis, and I think their kids are going to do well today in the individual competition. So that's kind of what we got in store for today. Not a whole lot as we conclude, but thankfully it's a manageable schedule, and hopefully we'll get some more success here locally.
In the track, was it a St. George's, somebody that won four titles?
Yeah, that was in the small Division II competition on Wednesday, Eli, and Kimbrielle Winfield from St. George's was awesome. We kind of featured her as one of our featured athletes at the Daily Memphian going into the competition, and I love it when these kids make me look like I know what I'm talking about, because she went out and dominated. She won the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and both hurdles races, the 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. So 40 points for her by herself. I think she would have finished third in that competition by herself as well. And she's a great athlete. She's going on to Howard University to compete collegiately up there in Washington, D.C., and we wish her well. And, that's just a great way to end your career. I mean, that's what you do. You peak. These track athletes, they aim to peak at the end, and she certainly did that. Super impressive for Kimbrielle Winfield.
So I assume the team won the title?
No, because St. George's didn't have a ton besides her, unfortunately.
I thought she finished third. She would finish third by herself. I would assume there was enough help out there.
No,
okay.
No, actually, it was Harding Academy's girls that won the team championship at that competition. So congrats to Seth King and his girls. They had a discus champion, they had a long jump champion, and kind of like Collierville as well. They were able to get enough second and thirds and fourths and fifths to kind of pile up the points. And so shout out to them. Lots of good competition in Division 2 as well, and Christian Brothers as well in the large public school. They were leading until the final event, the 4x400 relay, and unfortunately, they ended up in second place to Montgomery Bell Academy, but a great season on the track for CBHS. Ashton Hearn, of course, he wrapped up his outstanding career with his third straight discus title and his second consecutive shot put title.
Nice.
So he's going to leave with 5 championships. He's got state records in both events, and his coach Nick Dwyer said it best. He's a generational athlete, and he'll certainly be missed around here. And I know the competition will miss him because now somebody else can win for the next couple of years.
Where's he headed, John? What college?
Ole Miss.
I wish you hadn't. Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Eli, because I knew, but I had forgotten. So yeah, he's just a great athlete, and we're going to wish Ashton well and miss him around here too.
He didn't set any records in this meet.
No records.
What did he throw in the discus? Do you remember?
Say again.
Far.
What did he throw in the
far.
discus?
They just say far.
His winning throw was, I think it was 212.10, Eli.
That's crazy numbers, man, for high school kids.
Yeah.
I don't even understand. Discus throwing is a hard thing, man, and that's making it like easy.
Yeah, he really is.
It is. It is, and I'm remiss in not mentioning our guy Miles Naismith from Central as well, who yesterday in the AAA meet he broke his own state record in the triple jump. Earlier this year he went 51.5. Yesterday he went 51.7.5 to win the triple jump, and then after he calmed down from that, he went out and jumped 6.10 in the high jump. So, he's only a junior. So, next year maybe we're looking at 52, 53 feet in the triple jump and maybe 7 feet next year in the high jump if he chooses to do that. Just remarkable numbers, await him next season as well.
John Varlas from the Daily Memphian joining us as he does every Friday. He's joining us live today from Murfreesboro, site of the TSSAA Spring Fling for 2025. He's on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. John, from a team competition standpoint, in all the sports that are held in the spring, any of the Memphis or Memphis area teams that are out of the competition, were any of them expected to win it and were upset, or is it going according to plan? In other words, do we have titleists that ended up coming up short?
Well, I don't know that you can necessarily say anybody was expected to win. I mean, certainly teams had high hopes to win.
Right.
I mean, I know Houston Soccer felt really good about their chances, but they lost in the quarterfinals, with a late goal from their opponent. So that's frustrating, obviously. Certainly Briarcrest baseball, they were the defending champions, and they threw their ace in the first game against Lipscomb Academy, but they ended up losing that game despite Finn Waters pitching pretty well. So, when you drop into the losers bracket in baseball, Greg, that's always tough because then you have to play extra games and you start to wear out your pitching staff a little bit, and there's rules about when you can come back and pitch counts and all that type of thing. So once you fall into that losers bracket, it's kind of rough. It's kind of hard to get out of it. So, certainly I know they thought they could win and repeat, but it just wasn't meant to be. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's a cliche, when you get in these tournament type of situations, but it's true. All these teams are good, and here in Memphis, we don't get to necessarily see them and talk about them during the course of the season, but these teams are good, and the competition in all these tournaments is very, very fierce and difficult. So it's hard. Josh Pastner said it best. It's hard to win a championship, and everybody kind of clowned him and laughed at him for that. But it's a true fact. It's hard to win a championship.
Well, it is. And with all that said, certainly we want to send out our thoughts and our just job well done by all the athletes and all the teams from the Memphis area all year long. But I'm a matter of fact guy. You're a very optimistic guy. We certainly want to congratulate everybody for putting their best foot forward. But overall, and we're going to come back for our second segment with John. It gives John some time to think about it. But what I want to do is kind of wrap up the prep season overall, which started way back in late August, September, all the way till now as it wraps up at the Spring Fling. And how good was it for Memphis area schools as far as the state is concerned and state championships, going through football and basketball and baseball and all that? What type of a year in the 2025 or 2025, 24-25 scholastic year, what and how did Memphis fare compared to years past? Well, John, think about that. We'll put him on hold. He's joining us from Murfreesboro and the Spring Fling. I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, and that is the great folks at Dinstall's. Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates been making them for 122 years, which just is mind-boggling. And right now they got a summer sizzling deal going on right now on their old reliable, everybody loves the Dinstall's Cashew Crunch. My gosh. And right now, again, it is their summer sizzling deal. The Cashew Crunch at $17.95 a pound. You can pick that up this weekend. It is Memorial Day weekend, Memorial Day on Monday. We're honoring those that have served to protect us and, honoring our country for what we stand for. And as far as Dinsel's is concerned, they want to make sure that you have a great week. And it's always a little addition, right? A nice addition to have some candy, some chocolates at the home. And you can pick up any of their great products at any of their 5 locations this week. And now they will be closed, on Sunday and on Memorial Day. So if you plan on picking up some treats from Dinsel's, you'll need to do it today or need to do it tomorrow. 5 convenient locations in Collierville, in Germantown, downtown Memphis, Laurelwood, that's in East Memphis, and Pleasant View. That's where the factory is. That's where they make the candies. For over 122 years, they've been putting smiles on people's faces. It's Dinsel's fine candies and chocolates, a Memphis tradition. More John Varlos when we return. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Rolling Tire Auto Service is your local family-owned business for over 60 years. They are still committed to the highest quality products and service. All changes to engines, Rolling Tire can get it done. We have tires for cars, trucks, SUVs, trailers, even lawn and garden tires. Don't get bogged down by ordering the wrong tires online and overpaying. Take advantage of their 6-month savings cash offer. Cordova, Collierville, Olive Branch, Arlington, online at RolingTire.com.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Finley Lavin, defender for University of Memphis Women's Soccer. Southern Security offers the latest in technology with our personal teller machines. Our PTMs allow you to speak in real time with a Southern Security team member with experience and service you trust and know, delivered at your convenience. To locate a PTM near you, visit us online at southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics and 901 Women. Federally insured by NCUA.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. That's
Sports 56 Morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Final few minutes here in hour number 1 on this Friday morning. Let's bring John Varlos back on, who's joining us from Murfreesboro, site of the Spring Fling for 2025. So, John, even though there's still some sports to finish up, wrap up, and maybe some more state championships for local teams. You talked about Lakeland Prep and you talked about Munford, Memphis area. How do you think it went for the entire scholastic season, which started, again, way back in the fall in 2024, continuing through to 2025 in the Spring Fling?
Well, I would say I would give it a really good grade. I think Greg, most of the casual sports fans only pay attention to maybe football and boys basketball, but when you look at it big picture wise, and especially on the girls side, girls athletics this year in Shelby County was tremendous. I think. You start with golf. We had an individual champion from Hutchinson, and St. Mary's won a team championship. North Point won its first volleyball championship. ECS won a soccer championship in their division, and 3 out of the 4 teams in the Final Four in that tournament were from Memphis. Of course, Houston won a soccer championship in the large public school girls and had an undefeated season and was nationally ranked all year long. ECS also won a lacrosse championship last week. It's a spring sport, not part of spring fling proper, but spring sport as well. Really great success on the girls' side, I think. And then you look at and even look at football too. Mace won a state championship, which is just a fantastic accomplishment for a small public school that doesn't have much in the way of facilities and resources and that type of thing. And 2 runner-up with Melrose and with Houston. Briarcrest finishes runner-up in boys basketball after winning a title the previous year. I didn't mention St. Benedict softball here at Spring Fling, but they finished runner-up as well. Best season they've had in a long time. First runner-up finish since 2009. So really great season
Agnes
for
won
St.
bowling,
Benedict.
didn't they too?
St. Agnes bowling.
Yeah,
so there you go.
My daughter's alma mater.
Okay, yeah, I knew I would forget something. So yeah, again, if the sports that most people pay attention to, most casual fans, maybe looking from the outside looking in, it didn't look that great. But I'll take a championship and 2 runner-ups in football any year because that's the hardest thing to win. But big picture wise, you can't deny some of the work that these programs are putting in. I thought it was a terrific year overall.
That's it. From the girls' side, that is a pretty darn impressive. Again, especially when you just went over some of these track girls and what they're doing. that's amazing stuff.
Oh, yeah. Collierville track, the individual champions. You look at all the kids that get, they've got college scholarships this year. All the baseball guys that are being recruited by Power 5, Power 4 programs, I should say. The football kids we've got coming through, next year in 2027 that are getting great offers. The future of athletics in Memphis is looking really bright, and I'm curious to see what the future holds. I don't know, necessarily how long I'll be doing this. I don't have any plans not to, but that could always change. But regardless of whether I'm heavily involved or not, I'm always going to be a fan and always going to be a supporter of these kids, and looking forward to seeing how they progress and how all this unfolds. Because I think the foundation at a lot of schools has been built for some really, really great success going forward.
So when do Munford and Lakeland play today?
Both of those games are at 2:00. Munford is playing Tullahoma at Blackman High School at 2:00. Lakeland Prep is playing Forest also at 2:00, and they're out at Stewart's Creek High School, which is a little a ways away from Murfreesboro Center. So good luck to both of those. I hope they've got some pitching left. I mean, that's going to be the key, man. If you've got enough arms to get through a tournament with back-to-back games on consecutive days, that's the key. So hopefully they got enough arms in reserve, and hopefully they can advance.
Still pretty impressive. I mean, for Lakeland to be that far without a senior class,
that's crazy
in the school is crazy.
Well, hopefully they have some pitching left. Hopefully you have some energy left, John. Another job well done, my friend. You're the best, and people know that you are a treasure around here to be able to do what you do in covering the preps, and have done it for so long and have done it so well. And we appreciate that you're a part of our show each and every Friday. Of course, John will continue on every single week, but we'll be talking about a number of different topics as well during the slow time for prep sports, obviously during the summer months, and then get right back into it, rev up again in August for the start of football and the fall sports. So make sure you're following John today, always, right? Whether it's preps or other things that he has on his mind. He lets you know on Twitter at John Varlas, but read all his great stories at The Daily Memphian. Have a great day, John. Safe travels back. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Well, you too, guys. Looking forward to seeing you next week, Greg, and thank you for the kind words. And I don't have anything left pitching-wise, but I couldn't get anybody out today, but hopefully Munford and Lakeland do. And so good luck, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Sounds good, John. That is John Varlas. Yeah, that would be the icing, or the cherry on top of the icing, on top of the cake, would be a couple of more state championships, and we'll see what happens later today. Again, John Varlas is brought to you each and every Friday by the great folks at Shoot 360 Memphis. Call them over in Cordova at 901-779-3176. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Gossett Volkswagen's got it going on, so get over to Covington Pike, and you'll save big on 2025 Jetta S. We Gossett $299 a month, $299 a month for Jetta. How about 2025 ID4S Limited, $399 a month, $399 a month for ID4S Limited, and feel the vintage vibes in 2025 ID Buzz for less. Electric Buzz, $599 a month. Plus, Gossett Volkswagen has lower cost of maintenance across 2024 and 2025 lineups compared to 2024 Toyota or Honda. So make the smart choice. Get to Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, online, GossettVWMemphis.com. Gossett is charging forward and charging less every day.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
066-133, MSRP 24,125, ID4, SCW 2503, MSRP 47,261, Buzz, SHO 13,379, MSRP 61,980. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy 5-Ash, owner of 5-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I plug mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call 5-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics. And no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. 5-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
June is always a month of celebration. People are getting married, people are graduating, and those people need somewhere to do their celebrating. And we offer up Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar. You could take your group to a chain restaurant or bar, but those places don't have a tenth of the charm of Bell Tavern. Chains are sterile and impersonal. Bell Tavern is a cool oasis for most places. Signature cocktails, ice cold beer, and the friendliest staff in town. This is a chance for you to show off your knowledge of Memphis, to impress out-of-towners by taking them to the coolest bar they've been to in a long time. Unless, of course, they go to Bell Tavern.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a little bit of rubbernecking going on as they drive by this crash on 40 westbound at Witten Road. It looks like a car hit the pole over here. Again, it's to the side, but there's some rubbernecking delays down in this area on 40 westbound at Witten Road. It's trying to pick up even more at 385 Billmore Parkway coming inbound, trying to get up on that ramp to 240. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Brad Mooresworthy and Brian Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time, hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Friday, May 23rd, 2025 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Elijah Seegers. We're live and local, broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. May want to check them out this weekend, just in time for Memorial Day on Monday. Really the unofficial start of summer, although summer doesn't officially start until, 3 weeks into June, but schools are out for the most part. People will go on trips, the barbecues, the pool opening, all that fun stuff. So Family Leisure can help you out with all of that. Currently 64 degrees. We'll get up to 77 today. Cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy this afternoon. You'll see bits of the sun. Tonight, though, looks like rain and some thunderstorms possible, but probably not until the overnight hours. So hopefully your evening is fine. Overnight hours, get that rain out of the area for the Showboats game tomorrow and for all your weekend activities. But unfortunately, there is a little rain in the forecast and the possibility of thunderstorms. The more humid it gets, the more chance of thunderstorms. But temperatures, Saturday high 72, Sunday 73, Monday 73 before it starts to heat up a little bit more in the middle of the week next week. But nothing too bad right now as far as temperature and high humidity. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler, your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been around for 6 decades, for goodness sakes. They know what they're doing. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. And every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. We were just talking about the spring fling and everything that's going on this week with John Varlas. Did you know that Memphis was the last host site for the Spring Fling before its eventual move to Murfreesboro in 2006, where it remains today? But Memphis was the last city to host those 3 years, 2004, 5, or 2003, 4, and 5. The last time it's been anywhere other than where it's been for a long time. How many years would that be? 19 years? And that's Murfreesboro. So Memphis 2004, 2003, 2004, 2005. Go visit James Gaddis Jewelers this weekend. They are open Saturday from 10 to 4. They're open today all the way till 5 o'clock. Closed on Sunday. Your family's jeweler, James Gaddis Jewelers. All right, so this was a debate yesterday on the talk shows on TV because David Falk had said this. David Falk, who's considered one of the great agents in all of sports for all those years, and he was Michael Jordan's agent. So I don't know what prompted this or if he was on a podcast or just asked a question, but I saw the result of it. And this was David Falk's comments on the LeBron James, Michael Jordan GOAT debate. I really like LeBron, but I think if Jordan had cherry-picked what teams he wanted to be on and 2 other superstars and play with them, he would have won 15 championships. Again, David Falk was MJ's longtime agent. Obviously, he has the love for him, but is he speaking out of turn? Is that crazy talk? Is he accurate? Is he right? Would MJ have had more championships? Of course, MJ also left at the height of his game to go play baseball, professional baseball. So he could have easily won more championships. Not easily, but he could have won more championships if he had stayed just from that point of view. But he doesn't bring that up. He brings up the fact that LeBron, several times in his career, has teamed up with 2 other superstars to form the Big Three, and that's where it started, right? Miami was the first Big Three, wasn't it? Or was it anybody before that? Like considered the Big Three, coined the Big Three.
Miami was the start of that.
Yeah. I mean, we've had Big Threes.
But that's the only one that there was 3 that he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit misleading. I mean, he won what he did in Cleveland basically by himself, throwing that team on his shoulders. I think this is a little disingenuous to LeBron, but it doesn't take away from MJ. If MJ, look, he played with a superstar. He played with Scottie Pippen. That's another superstar, but he didn't play with 2 superstars. If he had gone and cherry-picked to different teams, would he have had the same success? I mean, it's impossible to answer, but what's your feelings about that?
I'm sure he would have, but he had. I mean, he didn't have to because he was in Chicago and he had one of the great players of all time alongside of him to begin with. He didn't have to go anywhere to get alongside that player.
No, I mean, of course not. But again, I'm only reacting to what Falk said. And again, it's just a discussion piece. There's no right or wrong, but and probably he's exaggerating 15, maybe he's being serious, but he won 6. If MJ cherry-picked and went to teams with 2 other stars, look, it doesn't always work out. Phoenix was a disaster this year. Now, I'm not saying that Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD's closer to MJ, but he's not MJ. But those other 2, distance, right? There's a lot of distance between what Michael Jordan was and what they are. But the point is that it was 3 stars of today's game of basketball, and they were a disaster. So it doesn't always work out. But I don't know. Elijah, you didn't see MJ play, but you know of MJ. What do you think about that comment?
Well, I think regardless of how great you are, winning 15 championships in 15 years is not only highly unlikely, I think it's impossible to do, not only just because of the competition around you, but because of if you are cherry picking and you're going to these different teams with these different superstars, especially with like egos involved, there's probably going to be an adjustment period to where, no matter where you are and who you're playing with, if you're going to different teams with different players, it's going to take a while to gel, unless you are just absolutely dominating the era, which, people could make that argument. But I like his confidence in his guy. I think that he definitely would have had more than 6, but 15 is a little hyperbolic in my opinion.
Well, here's the other thing, too. I mean, with this debate, let's take away Chicago for a second. Take away the 6 titles, right? Let's say from the beginning. He goes from what he did at North Carolina to instantly becoming a star in the NBA. But let's say he had his pick from the beginning to go to places that had 2 stars. Well, Chicago certainly didn't, right? He and Scottie became this star tandem with other supporting players. So if he's just cherry picking from the beginning, I mean, who knows what happens? Like, we take Chicago out of the mix for a second because they didn't have those stars. Let's just assume from the beginning he goes, who would it have been? Like, who would he have gone to that had the two stars back in the time when Chicago was dominating? You got to look at what? Detroit?
Well, you'd go to, if you're going back to the very beginning, like when he was just first in the league.
Right.
I mean, obviously later, you had...
You saw the Lakers. You had
the Knicks with Ewing, and I don't know. There would be the saying there's
Sixers,
three.
maybe.
LeBron has done one thing where there's three. Miami was the only time there were three.
I didn't make this up.
There's never been another time where there was a big three. I mean, he's
right. I'm just telling
Lakers. He's Anthony Davis, I guess, but I don't like. And certainly in Cleveland, it was him and Kyrie. So I don't know what the big three that he's referring to other than Miami.
Yeah, I don't understand the big three either. But I'm just going off of what Falk's comments were. And again, he talked about two other superstars, so that would make it the big three. So if he cherry-picked from the get-go, yeah, you're looking at the Lakers, and maybe it was Philadelphia still, right? And then you started to get into Detroit with Thomas and Dumars and guys they had. But I don't know. It's impossible to answer. I think what Elijah said is accurate. I think it's a pretty safe bet that he would have won a few more championships, like if we count the 6 in Chicago. But I'm saying from the get-go, right? From the get-go, Michael Jordan, if he had to pick, would he have picked Chicago? If he had his choice right off the bat? No. For this statement, he would have been going to Los Angeles. I'm not sure if Boston was...
Well, he wouldn't have had.
Bird was done. No.
He wouldn't have had a chance to choose right away. You go to where you drafted, just like LeBron went to Cleveland.
I know. I'm just BSing, throwing this around. Like, I'm just saying, if he had his chance to go to every team that had two other superstars, whether he stayed there for a couple years or then cherry picked, like Falk said, how many would he have won? I don't know. I think again the young man's point about who knows. If the chemistry would have been there, and even though he's great and can will teams to titles, it's not an automatic. It's not an automatic. I mean, again, Phoenix not even close to a title. They were horrible. They didn't even make the postseason. Again, nobody's MJ. I'm not comparing those guys to MJ, but MJ with two other superstars may not work. It worked with one other superstar who actually became that superstar. Scottie Pippen came out of Central Arkansas, for goodness sakes, and became that superstar, became that second guy. But all the other pieces around him were so good. They were so good. And they all knew their jobs, and they all did them well. But it's an interesting conversation, nevertheless. And that debate will always go on. MJ versus LeBron will always go on. Now, how long will LeBron go on? That's the big question. How long will LeBron continue to play? I think LeBron is the kind of guy that's going to want that swan song year. Well, he's definitely coming back this next season. I don't care what he says and hymns and halls and all that. He's coming back. And the other son, I don't know. I mean, what happened with Bronny was ridiculous. I called that shot. It'll probably happen with, is it Bryce? Is that the other kid's name? So, I don't know, maybe he wants to play with both. I mean, it's ridiculous, but, as a dad, you're proud to do something like that. But he's going to make sure that everybody knows when he's retiring, and it's going to be a full year, and it's going to be honoring the dude at every stop. That's what's going to happen. I don't see it. I don't see him going out quietly. But, again, what he has done, you can't knock what he has done, whether it's joining some other teams that had players. I'm sure if he had to do it again, he wouldn't have had the big announcement with Jim Gray. That was just stupid, right, in hindsight. But at the time, he thought it was really a cool thing. So today, again, we talked about this in hour number 1. On the court, Pacers, Knicks, what do you do for an encore after game 1? I don't know. But it's going to pale in comparison to what happened in game 1. I can't imagine. We could have another great game, but it's going to pale with what we had in game 1. And then, of course, the news off the court will be the all-NBA teams. And no reason right now today. We've done it already enough to speculate what could happen. But next week, we'll have a lot to say about that when we know a little bit more. And we'll know a lot more about Jaren Jackson Jr. if he is on one of the All-NBA teams. And again, the third team is more than likely, or no team. It's not going to be first or second team. And what the Grizzlies may or may not do. That'll be also speculation until it actually comes to fruition. But that's going to be all the conversation leading up to that decision. Talking draft and free agency and possible trades. So it's going to be busy. Even though the Grizzlies went out early, there's going to be a lot still to talk about when it comes to the Grizzlies and the NBA. Big news yesterday, college football playoff for 2025. Not surprising, but still big news, is they will move to straight seeding and the straight seeding model. So the College Football Playoff Selection Committee will seed the teams. The top four will have byes. And we'll talk to Brandon Marcello from CBS Sports and 247 Sports coming up in about, 12 minutes or so. But that was news. I don't think that was unexpected. You said it from the get-go, they're going to reseed. I remember you saying that right from the get-go after, I wouldn't call it a disaster last year, but it was controversial.
Well, it was a season that they never envisioned. They never thought that you would have two, especially two of the Power Four conference champions being ranked as low as they were. And so it made it just a situation where it made the playoff not as good as it should have been because of the blowouts that you had in the first round. You had all of those teams being, I don't know if all were, you had the teams that were the better seeds being underdogs in the quarterfinals because they weren't as good. And so it just really kind of messed everything up. And they quickly realized that, this just doesn't make a whole lot of sense doing it this way. And I'll give I don't know if Notre Dame, I guess Swarbrick was the one that agreed to it, saw this coming and realized that's why, we'll agree to this. We can't be a top four seed because we can't win. I don't know if he realized back then, this is never going to last. And so we can agree to it and it's going to quickly get wiped away and we can be a top four seed without a problem. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, maybe it's pure luck, but works out very well for Notre Dame in the end.
If there was straight seeding last year, it would have been 2 Big Ten and 2 SEC. And that's the concern from people outside of the SEC and the Big Ten, is that's what we're going to have again this year. But remember, this is short-lived because the contract ends. A new contract will be decided upon. In fact, it will be more than likely expansion to 14, possibly to 16. So that's going to all change. But for this upcoming year, again, most people believe, it'll end up being 2 from the Big Ten and 2 from the SEC as far as the top 4 seeds, and thus a first-round bye. Other news yesterday, there was the report that the White House is pressing pause on a presidential sports commission. That was talked about in the last several weeks, possibly Nick Saban being a part of that. So right now, we don't know what's happening with that. We had the NCAA Division I governance model proposal that came out yesterday, which grants the 4 power conference 51% and nearly 65% or as much as 65% of the voting privileges. So again, the rich get richer. There was also a story late last night, I believe, from Dellinger, who has a lot of these stories, that Danny White, the AD at the University of Tennessee, talked about really the only answer moving forward once revenue sharing comes into play, which we believe will happen here soon, we think, that collective bargaining with players will happen if those players end up becoming employees. We could see CBAs with collegiate players. We got to call them collegiate players after that, like they do in the National Football League. So a lot to unwrap. We'll do that with Brandon Marcello. That'll be coming up in about 8 minutes or so. SEC baseball tournament yesterday. Number 14 Texas A&M gets another win. That wrapped up the second round. They beat number 6 Auburn, eliminating the Tigers, 3-2 win. And then the quarters began. late last night, Vanderbilt, the 4 seed, beat Oklahoma, the 12 seed, 6-1. So Vandy advances. And number 1 Texas is done. As Tennessee, the 8th seed, moves into the quarters or moves into the semis as they win 7-5 over Texas in 12 innings in an incredible game.
Yeah, huge win, obviously, for Tennessee. And all these, some of these teams have already secured the fact that they'll be hosting regionals, but you're still playing for improving your national seed and all of those types of things. So for Tennessee, who really struggled down the stretch of the regular season, I think they lost their last 5 series, if I'm not mistaken.
At least 4, right.
So to get a win over number 1 Texas, certainly huge for them as they try and put themselves in the best position seed-wise in the NCAA tournament.
Didn't they say, Eli, that win probably secures a host site for Tennessee, that it wasn't something that was absolute until they got that win last night or yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know for sure exactly where they were in the projections. I'm certain. Again, if you lost your last 5 series, you're certainly borderline at best at that point.
Yes.
So getting a win over the number 1 team got to make you feel a lot better about it.
Right, but you know what they're going to draw in Knoxville and all that, so they take all that stuff into consideration. So Arkansas Ole Miss today in the quarters. What time's that start? We'll have it right here.
That'll be a 3:00 game today.
So 3:00 right here. You can listen to it. Number 7 Ole Miss, number 2 Arkansas. And then real quickly in the American Conference Tournament, again, Memphis did not qualify for a second straight year, but Tulane beat number 1 UTSA. It's not a single elimination. It's double elimination down at Clearwater, but they won 10-6 yesterday. And so there is the possibility that we could have a bid stealer from the American because UTSA is the only team that's getting in if they don't win at all. And now they're in the losers bracket. If they don't win, somebody's stealing a bid from somebody else in the NCAA baseball tournament, and perhaps it will be Tulane. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue for lunch, for dinner. It's a great option today, this weekend. How about for Memorial Day, for a little cookout, little picnic, whatever you want to do to celebrate Memorial Day and the 3-day weekend? How about Corky's? They've been serving up that delicious slow-smoked barbecue for nearly 40 years. They've catered that entire time period. So if you want something catered, go to Corky's. They know what they're doing. They'll set it up for you. They'll tear it down. They'll clean it up. It'll be like they hadn't even been there. Yet your stomachs will be full with that delicious Corky's barbecue. Now, when you head over for lunch or dinner, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase an entree, barbecue sandwich, maybe going outside of the barbecue family. They have an award-winning catfish plate, tamales, even delicious burgers there as well. Party packs start at just $7.49. Lunch specials every single day. Is your mouth watering yet? It will be. I know it's breakfast time, but before too long, it'll be time for lunch and dinner, and Corky's makes sense. Bring it home to the family or bring the family to Corky's. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, or Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Brandon Marcello is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Here, I'm an actual customer of Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis in the Mid-South. I was so impressed, I endorsed Pella as the standard in affordable luxury. And now, Pella's even more affordable. 12 months, no interest, no payments, plus 50% off installation. Mention you heard this on the radio and get another $500 off. I'm telling you, as your consumer investigator, as their customer, make the wise choice of Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis in the Mid-South.
Hey everybody, 2026 is already here at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Come out today and drive one of these all-new 2026 Equinoxes. Did you say Silverado? Nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star. I'm out here in Olive Branch today where all the Chevys are. And May is your month to finance your all-new Silverado as low as 0.9. That's less than 1%. And your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And All-Star has every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it here, ask Jeff and he will find it fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. So wherever this summer takes you, Drew and everybody here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family a happy and safe travels. Together, let's drive. Visit All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
The Employee Pricing Plus Memorial Day sales event is on in Gossett. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, all the pipe. 25 Ram 1500 Trace Crew Cab 5.7 box rear wheel drive. $12,391 off MSRP or $529.47 a month. How about off-road capabilities and refined features in 24 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4-wheel drive. $13,779 off MSRP or zero for 36 months available. 25 Grand Cherokee Altitude X elevates the Altitude trim with additional luxury features. $91.37 off MSRP. 5 for $34,798. 24 Dodge Hornet GT, $26,484. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the pipe. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 48,260, Wrangler RQ 302,914, MSRP 59,760, Cherokee SC 83,363, MSRP 43,935, Hornet R3A 42,101, MSRP 36,330, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license, CD for complete details, offer valid to end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Former Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons. Gordon Ford covering SEC sports now. And former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff to free throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yellow Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South sports station.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to pick up just a little bit more in the last few minutes coming in from Collierville on 385 Bill Morris Parkway all the way to 240. 240 clear shot over here at the moment, east and westbound around Mill Branch. However, there is lots of radar in our area, and you're going to see a lot more of that over the next 24, 48 hours. Weimer's Jewelry serving Memphis now for well over 40 years. Stop by and see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Apparently, the first college football preview magazine is out. It's way too early. I'm not ready to dive into that just yet. I want that to enjoy in late June, mid-July, when it gets really slow. But apparently it's out because I'm reading a tweet. Anonymous coach comments on Ole Miss in the Athlon Sports College Football magazine. So again, I would think it's the preview magazine. I could be wrong about that. The quote, the first program in the league that went all in on portal players to take them to a playoff bid went bust. Quote, the loss at Florida last year is an example of why Lane Kiffin isn't considered an elite coach. Huh? I think Ole Miss has done pretty well. Yeah, they were disappointing. It was a disappointment to lose at Florida. Yes, it was a disappointment to not finish the deal, but I would completely disagree with that. I think they have really used the portal in a positive way. I mean, look, it is what it is. You may not like what's going on with the portal, but I think Ole Miss has done a really good job. You had Keith Carter on, their AD. They're putting their money where their mouth is. I still think Lane Kiffin's a very good coach. And, yeah, I mean, to say that, anonymous coach, about that proves they went bust on the all portal players. Come on now. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great year. It was certainly disappointing. They took 2 terrible losses and cost themselves an opportunity. They were all in on last year and didn't achieve the ultimate goal, but I wouldn't say it was a complete bust either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, I'm just using the words that this anonymous coach said in this Athlon Sports report. Again, that they went bust. No, it was a disappointing end. The loss to Florida was very disappointing, but I still think they're on the right trajectory as far as where they want to be a part of the playoffs, which will eventually, and I mean sooner than later, go from 12 to 14 or 16. That's going to happen when the powers that be figure out that next deal, which is after the 25 season. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's done by late summer, early fall, maybe earlier.
They want to get it done. Because if it goes to 16, there's a chance they have to renegotiate with ESPN because the ESPN contract only covers 12 and 14 team playoffs.
Right.
So they've got to figure out what they're doing there if it goes to 16, which seems to be the idea now. Plus the SEC, if it goes to the 4-4-2-2-1 or whatever model like that, the SEC probably is going to go to the 9-game conference schedule. So they need to know that so they could get their conference schedule in line. There's a lot of things that happen based on what that, there's still the talk of these play-in games on conference championship weekend and that type of stuff that these conferences may want to go to, namely the SEC and the Big Ten. So there's a lot of different things that would be domino effects based on exactly what the format and number of teams is in the new playoff.
Yeah, and it's really the 4-4-2-2-1-1 because you got the group of 5 representative as well. But in that case, you're talking about 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, and only 1 at large, which again, you would think, unless it's a disaster year, it would be Notre Dame. That's why I hope they go right to 16, because it's eventually going to 16. So make it this new contract starting in 2026. I can understand, though, from a financial point of view, with the 14-team play. So are you saying if it goes to 14, they don't have the rights to renegotiate with ESPN? It has to be 16?
The current contract that they did covers 12 and 14 team playoffs.
Right, but the contract is done after 2025.
The new contract, the new playoff covers 12 and 14 teams.
But the new contract hasn't been signed, has it?
Yes, it's been done for a while.
So then if they go to 16, they can renegotiate. Right now at 14, what's the format they have? Is it the 4-4-2-2-1-1?
If it's a 14-team playoff, yes, it's the conversation about the 14 or 16 or whatever, doesn't matter how many, is the 4-4-2-2-1. And then whether 14, 16, whatever, that will determine the number of at-large. But the 4-4-2-2-1
Right.
is the one that most people believe will come to fruition, whether it's a 14 or 16 team. But the ACC and the Big 12 apparently are trying to get a third automatic bid, which I don't believe there's any chance that will happen. But these are none of that is finalized yet. These are discussions that continue to be had.
So that's the point I'm making. You're saying the negotiations are done from a financial standpoint. ESPN and the college football, they know the financial package for a 12 and 14. But from a format standpoint, that's still in discussion. So it's not everything is done about that new contract. That's basically the point I'm making, that you can adjust with whatever you do. But from a financial standpoint, from your media package, if it goes to 16, then you have the opportunity to renegotiate because you're adding 2 more teams to the mix, more games. So ESPN, you would think in theory, would be giving them more money. Okay, so and we're efforting to try to get Brandon Marcello on. We're struggling right now to get through. Hopefully, we'll have him on in the next few moments. But the 4-4-2-2-1, and again, I say 4-4-2-2-1-1 because that adds up to 14, and that's the at-large. Or that's the group of 5. That's, thanks for playing. That's their consolation prize, but at least they're in, and we saw what Boise State did last year. To me, again, if you wanted to go the 14 the first time, you're eventually going to go to 16 because you're going to renegotiate financially. It only makes sense that they're going to do it. So they may want to milk it, and then when that contract runs out, then go to 16. But I say get it over now. It's just like expansion. I always said, come on, just finish it up with the expansion and let's stay stable for a decade, for goodness sakes, which never seems to be the case no matter what. But I would like 14 teams because then you have 3 at-larges. Because if you're going to go 4-4-2-2 and then the group of 5 gets their spot.
4-4-2-2-1 is the automatic bids.
Right, I understand that. I don't want 1 at-large. 1 at-large is going to be basically Notre Dame every year. Right? And if it's not going to be Notre Dame, probably a 5th from the SEC or a 5th from the Big Ten. But having 3 at-larges gives you a little bit more wiggle room to think a little bit outside the box, even though they probably won't. That's what I'd rather have because everything else would be pretty much etched in stone. I don't want... You're going to get the big-time programs in the playoff anyway. But, I mean, it was neat kind of to have a little bit of intrigue last year that we had, that the Big 12 was struggling and the ACC, to a certain extent, was struggling. And then, Clemson took over. But that won't always be the case because I don't think Florida State, which was fantastic the year prior and then had a disastrous year, will be a disaster again. I don't think so. And they better not be for Mike Norvell's sake. But to have 3 at-large gives you a little bit more intrigue as to who they're going to go with, where are they going to come out of. Will they go with a 3rd from an ACC or a Big 12? Will they go with a 5th from a Big 10 or an SEC? Is it possible? Is it even possible? Remote, I know. But could it be another team from the group of 5 if they have 2 outstanding teams? But you have 1, it's like, it's Notre Dame.
They're also, according to the reporting on it, with this new seeding, there is the top 4 conference champions will at least get a financial benefit. Basically, they're going to be paid as if they reach the quarterfinals, even if they don't reach the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So they're right now it's $4 million. I believe that the current deal is $4 million for making it $8 million if you reach the quarterfinals. Those top 4 conference champions, if they lose in the first round, will still get the full $8 million, is from what the people that are reporting on this said was the financial consideration that they gave these, gave the conferences or whoever in order to, because this needed the unanimous vote. The other stuff doesn't need any unanimous vote. This needed a unanimous vote. So both, the Big 12 and ACC both came out and said, while this doesn't necessarily benefit us, it's for the good of college football, so we did it, but they also gave them a little financial incentive for voting to do this seating as well.
Yeah, here's the exact quote from Brett Yormark. Today's decision might not be the best thing for the Big 12, but it was the best thing for college football. I hope what's best for college football continues to be the priority in any discussions moving forward. Okay, that's right on target. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips, in the best interest of the sport, even if it may not always benefit the ACC. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to do what's best. Now, your constituents would argue, right, from the Big 12 and from the ACC, no, you do what's best for the Big 12 or the ACC, whatever the case may be. But I like that they're doing it for the love and for the good of college football, although, like you said, there's a little incentive from a financial standpoint. But here's my question. If this is the best thing for college football, the seeding with the top seeds, the top 4 getting the byes, as opposed to the top 4 seeded conference champions, if it's the best thing for college football, why couldn't they have figured that out the first time when they decided they're going to a college football playoff? Why couldn't they have come up with that? It's pretty simple. How couldn't they have figured that out back then, that it was the best thing for college football?
Because I didn't see a season like last year coming.
You have to look at every possibility. You're right. I think you're right. I don't think they saw that coming. But you have to look at all the possibilities. So you don't react and look like you have egg in your face. Because you made the rules, and then that happened, and then you look stupid. Although, again, playoffs are fine. Ohio State won the Natty. Well-deserved, all that. The playoffs are still going to be, it's still an amazingly huge step forward from what we had. Writers deciding who the national champions were. You know, to have the BCS was good, but to have a college football playoff is better. What did you think of Matt Rule and what he said the other day, the Nebraska coach? Wasn't it something to the effect of, like, if you have 40 playoff teams, that's great, let's do it. The more the merrier, something like that. I'm paraphrasing here.
Coaches would all love as many, because if you as a coach could say, I took my team to the playoff, that's great.
Right, but how many games are you going to play in a season?
I go get a contract extension, everything else by taking my team to the playoff. Coaches would love the biggest field imaginable.
Yeah, but again, how many games are we talking about? Right now, with the way, if it moves forward, and I think it will after 2025 to 14 or 16, I hope it's 16. What are we talking about as far as a team that wins or a team that plays in the national championship? How many games will they have played? Do the math.
Well, it depends. They don't know on a 16-team playoff what the format of the playoffs.
Well, that's right. Let's say
it's not just going to be in all likelihood at eight first-round games. They're talking about buys and double buys and all that stuff. So we have no idea.
Double buys?
They don't know for sure what that 16-team format will look like of how the actual playoff will go.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Then you have the old rust versus rest. If you got a double bye in college football after you wrapped up your regular season, that's a lot of time in between games. You only play once a week in football. I wouldn't want that. Double bye is stupid. Okay, buys, yes, I understand that. But let's say they go.
The double bye will be no longer than what it is for teams right now, because the playoff is going to start earlier anyway. So, like right now, the teams have had off basically from conference championship weekend to New Year's anyway. So the double bye will not change any of that for teams.
It won't affect the schedule?
The playoff will start earlier, so the teams that have the double bye will be the same. They're not going to play in February. They're going to play their first game around New Year's probably, just like they do right now.
Yeah, they're talking about having, a couple of the games on Army-Navy Saturday?
That has been mentioned, although right now within the rules that can't happen. But again, all of this is subject to change.
And why is that?
There's a rule that I think it's got to be a certain amount of days from the last week, I think, of the regular season until the first playoff games or something like that. There's some sort of rule that, again, all this could be changed to fit whatever format they want, I'm sure. But there is something about the number of days in between. I think it's the last week of the regular season and the first games of the playoff when they can be played or something like that.
I go back to bring in Nick Saban, make him the CEO of this Presidential Sports Commission or whatever you want to call it, because we need somebody that is calling the shots for all this stuff. It is the most complicated, convoluted situation I've ever seen in collegiate sports, and I've covered it for 40 years.
They're called the Big Ten and the SEC and ESPN.
Yeah, but even they can't come together on everything right now. So I think even they want some sort of federal legislation.
They want it for NILs of all that.
Well, yeah,
that has nothing to do with the playoff.
No, I'm not talking about the playoff. I'm just talking about in general of all things now that have to do with collegiate sports, and in this particular case, collegiate football. So again, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're able to run down Brandon Marcello. We'll try to schedule him for next week, hopefully get him on. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour 2, and we're going to be very busy in hour 3. Ben Johnson to start things off. We'll have him on for a few minutes to talk about his monumental night the other evening when he became the all-time winningest manager in Redbirds history. Then we'll go right into 10 in a row, so get ready for that, the game show that has swept the nation. Steve Macy at 9:30 to talk some showboats who are back in action. 2 final games, both at home, including one tomorrow morning. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SCO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is, and has been for a long time, to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. Final segment here in hour number 2 before our final hour of the week. And again, Ben Johnson, 10 in a row, and then Steve Macy in a busy third hour. I saw this yesterday from The Athletic. They put together their all-quarter century team for Major League Baseball. So since 2000. And that's always tricky because you have some of the players who are Hall of Fame players who wrap up their careers moving into the next decade, or in this case, the next century. So they're only in it for maybe a couple of years. How do you judge those type of players? But you got to look at it strictly with what they did during that time period. So you can't look at what the guy did in the 1990s if the list is since 2000, and that list is since 2000. So here's the all-quarter century team. You tell me if you agree, put together by The Athletic. First base, Albert Pujols. Second base, Jose Altuve. Shortstop, Derek Jeter. Third base, Adrian Beltre. Catcher, Yadi Molina. Left fielder, Barry Bonds. Center field, Mike Trout. Right field, Aaron Judge. DH, David Ortiz. The rotation, 5-man rotation, which we don't see anymore, but Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Roy Halladay, Randy Johnson, and Max Scherzer. And the closer, you guessed it, Mariano Rivera. Off the top of your head, hearing that for the first time, pretty good list, right?
Obviously a pretty good hit. I mean, I would have to go back and look at who did what.
Right, and when.
Not having Shohei on there is...
It's the first thing I thought of.
I mean, it's not a super long career, but it's, when you're winning MVP awards in both leagues and everything else, it's hard to leave him off of that list.
It's very hard. He's the first one that came to mind, and I'm just thinking to myself, he hasn't put in those years yet, but look at this guy. He's going to go down as one of the greats of all time. There's no question about it. And so I'm sure that was a tough decision. And there's these other young players who knows, right? Juan Soto, when it's all said and done, where's he going to be? And others like that just haven't put enough years in of high-level baseball, but you know that they're stars. It was interesting because of Randy Johnson. I'm trying to think, wow, Randy Johnson, how much in the 2000s did he pitch? Like sometimes I get the years confused, but he's on that list. And the only other person I could think of, you got Bonds on there from the steroid era, right? You don't have like an A-Rod. But where would you put A-Rod? I guess the battle would be if you put A-Rod over Beltre at third. And I know he played a bunch of shortstop, but when he went to the Yankees, he moved to third.
Yeah, I was just looking at A-Rod 100% should be on the list. He's had 3 MVP awards since 2000. So,
and Beltre's a Hall of Famer.
He would be ahead of Derek Jeter. You put Alex Rodriguez at shortstop ahead of Derek Jeter. It's not even close.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's blasphemy in the ears of and the eyes of people that are fans of the Yankees. You don't mess with the captain. How about A-Rod at third and take Beltre off the list? But Beltre's a Hall of Famer.
They're both better than Derek Jeter.
They're both better than Jeter. How many hits did Jeter end up with?
3,000, whatever.
I don't know about that. If we're talking about power numbers, okay. I don't know. That's interesting. You could always hit us up with a text at 360-8255. I mean, it's certainly debatable. I mean, that's the second. 2 guys came to mind with Shohei Ohtani, probably not enough years yet, and A-Rod. And then I was a little surprised again with Randy Johnson, but I didn't look up like how many years he pitched into the 2-0s, but he did enough to make this list. I don't know if you could argue with any of the other pitchers. Now, who knows? Maybe one day Paul Skeens will do it, and there's a few others that are really, really good. But would you take any of those starters off? Verlander, Kershaw, Halladay, Big Unit, Scherzer? It's tough to argue those 5. You're winning a lot of games with those guys.
Yeah, I'd have to look back to see some of those guys who crossed over and how many years and what they did in the 2000s. But there's no doubt that Alex Rodriguez would be on there.
Again, this is The Athletic. If you want to check it out, the Major League Baseball all-quarter century team. And one other quick note from baseball, Ronald Acuna Jr. is coming back. Is it tonight?
Yes, expected to make his season debut tonight.
So the Braves, it's 50 games into the season. There's still plenty of time to start to get healthier. We know how good they were before they got just clobbered with injuries, and we'll see what they can do as they get these pieces back one at a time. We will take a timeout. When we come back, speaking of baseball, we head down to Jacksonville. That's where Ben Johnson is. We'll talk to him, and that'll be followed right away by 10 in a row, so stay tuned for that. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
So you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. That's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey everybody, 2026 is already here at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Come out today and drive one of these all-new 2026 Equinoxes. Did you say Silverado? Nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star. I'm out here in Olive Branch today where all the Chevys are. And May is your month to finance your all-new Silverado as low as 0.9. That's less than 1%. And your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And All-Star has every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it here, ask Jeff and he will find it fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. So wherever this summer takes you, Drew and everybody here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family a happy and safe travels. Together, let's drive. Visit All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Troy 5-Ash, owner of 5-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. 5-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. 5-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Pennsdorf Realtors. I'm often called Sheldon because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. first. Call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Sheldon gets it done.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 91271-5199.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Just a couple of minor accidents out here getting some attention. It's trying its best to build in a couple of spots like 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway down to Sycamore View Road coming inbound on Sam Cooper right when you come off the interstate as it tries to build up through South Haven right now on 55 going northbound. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions today. These guys are the best and they're affordable. Call 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Dave Wolo, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5
Welcome back, everyone. 9:05 the time, our final hour this week, getting you set for the Memorial Day weekend. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you on this Friday, May 23rd, 2025. 64 degrees, going to get up to 77 today. Cloudy with some peaks of sunshine this afternoon. Then overnight, we're expecting rain. In fact, some thunder boomers as well. We're going to talk with Redbird skipper Ben Johnson in just a moment. Tell you about our third hour sponsor first, and that's Jenkins Floors and More, 2356 Goodman Road. That's in Horn Lake, Mississippi. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, ceramic and porcelain tiles, backsplashes, plantation shutters and blinds, and so much more. They sell at wholesale, skip the middleman, save you lots of money in the process, and they promise a 2-week turnaround. If you go with Jenkins, they'll get the job done in 2 weeks or less. They'll come to you. They'll give you a free estimate. They'll show you different samples of what it will look like. So for your home, for your place of business, if you own a business, you need new flooring or carpeting, go with Jenkins. Family owned and operated. Call them at 662-469-9350. Open Monday through Saturday. Jenkins Floors and More. Well, Wednesday night, Ben Johnson, the pride of Germantown High, the Memphian, won his 368th game as the skipper of the Memphis Redbirds to become the all-time winningest manager in Redbirds history. The Redbirds right now playing in Jacksonville, and he added another one last night. Ben Johnson joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. First of all, Coach, congratulations on a monumental moment for you.
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it, man. It's good to hear your voice, and it's good to be on with you guys this morning. So thanks for reaching out. And yeah, it's I would say it still hasn't really sunk in yet. You know, I've been receiving a lot of phone calls and a lot of messages, but it's nice to be on the top of the list, man. It really is.
You are such a modest guy, and so I'm glad that you're enjoying it. But after the game was over and you took care of your managerial responsibilities, did you have a beer and did it sink in and maybe get a little emotional or what? I mean, this is not just any win. That's a very special win.
For sure, man. For sure. Yeah, you know, the boys, they had a surprise for me. So they had a cake for me when I got into that clubhouse. Also had everyone signed a bat for me, which I thought was pretty cool. And for whatever reason, this group we're kind of a close group, and we've gotten to know each other and gotten to just learn to have some fun together. So our tradition right now for the player of the game is they'll throw you in the basket, like the laundry basket. Mm-hmm. They'll wheel you into the shower, and then they dump beer all over you, right? So I got the chance to be in the basket, man. So it was fun, you know. No, it was it was an experience that I'll never forget. It was a beer shower, and we had champagne afterwards. And Alex Coyle, he does our radio, and, sure. And he and I we had just a nice little I guess just shot of rum that he has.
Nice.
That he kind of takes with him from. I think he picked up a bottle from the Bahamas last time he was there. Okay. So it was pretty cool, man. It's been a good experience. It hasn't all really sunk in, but I'm really enjoying just kind of the high that I'm on right now with this.
When you first got the job, and obviously to get that opportunity in your hometown, everything else, but could you have imagined becoming the all-time wins leader?
Never, and I really didn't even see it on the horizon. To be honest with you, it was I guess maybe about 10 days out. I could sense something coming because more, there's just more media coming around the building and just more guys asking questions about just being the all-time winning manager and I could start to sense it, but it never was anything that I intended to go out and try and accomplish. Mm-hmm. Just went out and, I wanted to get the players better. And that's, I guess, some good comes with it, man. But, I figure the more I think about it, I've got to probably be the all-time losing leader too, right? I mean, somebody's got.
I don't know.
Nobody tells you about that.
No fifth. I don't know.
Why are you gonna bring that up? Nobody worries about that.
All right, we'll forget I said
it. They say you always remember your first. Do you remember your first win as the Redbird skipper?
I do. Yeah, that was at home. The first year for sure. Yeah, our first game.
Okay, who'd you beat? I mean, I'll test you on this. See if you really remember it.
I don't really remember it. I don't. I remember we won, and I don't recall who it was. I mean, I was just I was nervous, excited, knew what I was doing. I know it all went fast, and I was just happy to be on the winning side of that. That's kind of what I recall, but. Do you have a little insight as to who it was and who we played?
No, maybe Elijah can look that up if you can. I don't know if you can find. Wait, well, it was 7 years ago.
Yes.
So 2018 season.
19, I believe, was my
19.
first. Yeah.
Check out the Redbirds' first win of the year in 2019, because that would be Coach Johnson's first win.
Generally, do you remember the wins more or the losses more?
Oh, the losses sting. The losses,
yeah.
You remember the losses, especially the close ones where you feel you could have made a move here and there that could have changed the outcome in the game. Some losses, you're just losing. You're going to lose, and there's not a whole lot you can do. But when there's a point in the game where you feel that, man, I could have maybe hit and run here, or maybe put a bunt down there, or try to use a different bunt play or a different pick play. Those are the ones that stand out, and those are the ones that you remember the most, no question.
And I think that's probably how most people are. But as you've done this now and you're in year 7, have you learned to enjoy the wins more?
Yes. Yes.
He said reluctantly.
If it comes with a beer shower, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. but you know what's kind of funny? It's hard. It's hard to say which ones you enjoy the most. There's games where you win, where you know that you could have done a better job, and the players just picked you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's games where you lose, where you feel like, man, I managed a really good game there, and it just didn't go our way. So you kind of take them both, you know. But you definitely. I've learned to appreciate the wins just because, man, they're just not easy to come by anymore.
Right.
Everyone's so good, and everyone's got so much information on all the all the players that you have, and a lot of the strategies that you try and use throughout the course of the game. So the wins aren't easy, and you do appreciate them.
Well, you'll never forget the record breaker for many reasons, the obvious reasons, but because also you beat a team named the Jumbo Shrimp. You'll always remember that.
Yeah, I won't forget this one, and I'll remember where I was. And man, it's full-on summer here in Jacksonville, guys. I was hearing you right off the weather there in Memphis. It's hot. It's humid, and it's summertime.
Okay, so of all the places you go and play at during the dog days of summer, so it's not too bad right now in May, but you said Jacksonville's pretty bad. Which cities are worse than Memphis? Because I am on record saying that Memphis is the hottest place. Maybe New Orleans. I don't think you guys play there anymore. So what would be the hottest places you play aside from your home games in Memphis?
No, I think you're right there, man. New Orleans used to be, really, really hot down there. I remember now, not in the southern, or excuse me, not in the league that we're in now, but back in the day, Mobile, Alabama was.
Really?
We just kind of, we had a saying that Mobile was the hottest place on earth, during the summer. No, it was, and it's smoking. It gets hot down there. But Memphis, Memphis is right up there. Memphis is right up there. There's a heat that comes on late July, August, and it's just as it's just as hot as any place I feel like we play. You got to make sure that you're staying on top of your hydration and getting your rest at night. But it's really the profession we chose. We know it's a hot summer, and that's kind of part of the deal, right?
No question about it. We're on the same. We're all on the same page, whether or not we're playing baseball or out there playing golf or just walking. For goodness sakes, we know how hot it is in Memphis. But right now, the Redbirds in Jacksonville, they won again yesterday. So the number now is what the record breaker was. Number what? What was it?
368.
368. So now it's 369. You go for 370. And we wish you nothing but the best. We want to congratulate you again. Ben, it's an awfully big accomplishment, and we're very proud. And again, you're a Memphian doing it here in your hometown. So congratulations. We'll talk to you soon, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. Love you guys, and y'all have a great day.
You too. Ben Johnson, the skipper of the Memphis Redbirds. You know what time it is?
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It is time for 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now at 901-360-8255. It's brought to you each and every week by Napa Cafe.
That's right, Napa Cafe. Been doing it a long time, 27 years they've been doing it, serving up great food. And if you're going to be in the restaurant business that long, you're obviously serving up great food and just a great place to go enjoy some of that great food as well. There are 5 different dining rooms, including the private wine cellar, which is absolutely outstanding if you're celebrating a special occasion to get that private wine cellar. But any of those places, you can sit back, relax, and just have a good time while enjoying some of that great food. 5101 Sanderland. That's the address. That's where you'll find them, right there in the heart of East Memphis. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. If you go to napacafe.com, you can make reservations there on the website. You can also check out the entire menu. Plus, you can get the entire menu to go. Curbside pickup for the full menu as well, if you want to take some of that delicious food home with you. So whether it's just an appetizer and a drink at the bar for happy hour, or if it's a night out celebrating, or just a night out with friends having a good time and wanting some great food, go see the folks at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderland. The winner of 10 in a row will get a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe, along with $20 to Corky's Barbecue, $20 to Sunrise, and golf for 4 at Miramichi.
Nice prize package. We already have a couple of folks holding on. You can jump on We have a couple of available lines at 360-8255. So here's the question. Current NFL owners. I'm not going to trick you with somebody from 30 years ago that owned the team. These are all current owners, but some may not be owners of NFL teams, if you catch my drift. Current NFL owners, I'll give you the name and I'll give you the team. And you got to tell me if they are, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. 10 in a row, and you're a winner.
Okay. 360-8255, 360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line to try and win this big old prize package. Steven is first up. Hey, Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Good morning.
Good morning. Current NFL owners. Clark Hunt, Kansas City.
Yes.
Robert Kraft, New England.
Yes.
Terry Pagula, Buffalo.
Yes.
Ziggy Wolf, Minnesota.
Yes.
Jed York, San Francisco.
Yes.
Tillman Fertitta, Seattle.
No.
Shahid Khan, Jacksonville.
Yes.
Steve Ballmer, Baltimore.
Baltimore, I'm going to say yes.
360-8255. Great run by Steve. That leaves it open for the GOAT.
Joe is next. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys. School year's over. My phone
Congrats.
is out, but somehow I found some internet service that has me on a line with you.
You'd find us if you were in Siberia, man. We appreciate you listening. All right. We go to list 2. It hasn't been touched yet. Current NFL owners. Michael Bidwill, Arizona.
Yes.
Gail Benson, New Orleans.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. It's the connection.
Gail Benson, New Orleans.
Yes.
Dan Gilbert, Cleveland.
I'm going to say no.
Woody Johnson, Jets, New York Jets.
I'm really sorry, Greg. Can you say it one more time?
Woody Johnson, Jets.
Woody Johnson, yes. He says a lot of stupid stuff.
Jeffrey Lurie, Philadelphia.
Yes.
So does he. Art Rooney II, Pittsburgh.
I know. Yeah, I know it's the Rooney family, so yeah.
Josh Harris, Washington.
Yeah.
Replace Dan Snyder. Robert Pera, Houston.
No.
David Tepper, Carolina.
That's a tough one. I feel like he says a lot of stuff too, so yeah.
He does. Arthur Blank, Atlanta.
Absolutely.
The GOAT strikes again.
Joe, congratulations, sir. You are a winner. Hold on, and Elijah will let you know how to get your prizes.
Congratulations. That it?
Yeah.
We doing second chance?
No.
Was that hard for you or easy?
We can't hear it.
Oh, I know. I thought Steve had it. He got to Steve Ballmer, and of course, he is the owner of.
He's a Clippers owner.
Clippers owner. It's Steve Bisciutti, I think is his name, with Baltimore. The two we didn't get to, I think you heard of this guy. Jerry Jones, Dallas? What would you say for that one?
I think he's a yes.
He's a yes. And then Stephen Ross, Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty easy. Easy to look up as well, but I think most people that follow the NFL know most of the owners. So, again, we'll talk to Joe in a month, but congratulations to the GOAT, the only member of the 10 in a row Hall of Fame to this point. When we come back, we're going to talk some showboats. Eli's the voice of the showboats. They're coming off a dub. They got 2 games to go. They're not going to make the postseason, unfortunately, but they got 2 home games. It's always fun. They're going to play Bob Stoops and the Arlington Renegades tomorrow morning. Should be a fun time. We'll talk to Steve about everything that's going on with the showboats. And then, of course, they have a finale next weekend to wrap up the 25 campaign. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Admit it.
When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of Cashew Crunch, of Heavenly Hash, of Turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown. And in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon. And right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin. And you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family. But hurry, the best pricing of the year ends May 31st. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work in them by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
The employee pricing plus Memorial Day sales event is on in Gossett. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, all the pike. 25 Ram 1500 Trace, Crew Cab 5.7 box rear wheel drive. $12,391 off MSRP or $529.47 a month. How about off-road capabilities and refined features in 24 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4-wheel drive. $13,779 off MSRP or zero for 36 months available. 25 Grand Cherokee Altitude X elevates the Altitude trim with additional luxury features. $91.37 off MSRP. 5 for $34,798. 24 Dodge Hornet GT, $26,484. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
MSRP 48,260 Wrangler, RQ 302,914, MSRP 59,760 Cherokee, SC 83,363, MSRP 43,935, Hornet R3A 42,101, MSRP 36,330. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church downtown Memphis.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. The traffic volume trying to build a little bit more out through the Midtown area. It has increased over here on 40 East across Hernando de Soto Bridge as that traffic builds over from Crittenden County, West Memphis, as it also cranks up certain sections of Sam Cooper, especially coming inbound right when you come off the interstate. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. This coming bridal season, which is just around the corner. Stop by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:27 is the time. Our buddy Steve Macy will join us in just a few moments. Off the top of your head, how many teams do you think will end up hosting from the SEC? Hosting regionals?
I'm not sure on that. I would guess it's
8.
At least 8, maybe more. I don't know for sure where the kind of the projections are.
So that would be, got what, 64 teams, right? So that would be, I don't even know. I can't do the math. It's not a quarter, obviously. An eighth.
Well,
right. It would be the eighth of the teams. If it's 8
teams getting in, there's going to be more than 8 teams getting in the tournament.
No,
for sure.
Oh, that's right. So it would only be 16 hosting regionals. So that'd be half. Yeah, that's right. You're right about teams getting in. It's going to be way more than 8, but yeah, more than likely minimum 8 hosting regionals, 16 regionals because you got 4 teams at each regional. Yeah, it's going to be half of them from the SEC. Well, how did Conor O'Gara answer that question when I said, what's better right now? Didn't he say baseball between the SEC, men's basketball, which had a really good year but hasn't been notoriously good annually, football and baseball? Didn't he say it was baseball by far? Like the best of those 3?
I think so.
Even though they're very good in everything, right?
I mean, they're dominant in the softball super regionals get underway, and they're guaranteed of 3 softball teams going to the World Series because they got 3 SEC versus SEC super regionals. But they could end up with as many as 6 of the 8 teams advancing because they've got 3 other teams that are playing as well in the super regionals. So,
well, nice to add Oklahoma to your resume.
Well, yeah, I mean,
to your portfolio.
That's like Oklahoma. I mean, that's when you're talking about all the stuff, and I mean, you added. Right now, maybe the most dominant team there is in any sport in college athletics in adding Oklahoma's softball team, although they were not the number 1 overall seed. And Texas A&M, the number 1 overall seed, isn't one of the 9 teams that advanced to the Super Regional.
Look, because we love Elijah Seegers, I don't feel like I'm rubbing it in when I get to this next story. He's already shaking his head. The Colorado Rockies lost to my Phillies on Thursday 2-0, so the Phillies swept 4 from Colorado. The Rockies fell to 8-42. That is the worst 50-game start in Major League Baseball's modern era. Modern. Since 1901, they consider the modern era. Before that, you have to go back to the 1895 Louisville Colonels, who were 7-43, to find a worse start. The modern era, I laugh. 1901, 124 years ago. So all that.
Didn't they just have to put their best pitcher on the DL too?
Yes, they did.
You still get change if you want, but I'm glad that you hang with the team through thick and thin. He's good. He's an old school mind in a young guy's body that you stick with your team even through the bad. But last year, all the talk was we laughed at the White Sox, right? How bad? It's like historically bad, the White Sox. The Rockies come back the next year and say, hold my beer. And poor Hunter Goodman from Memphis, from the University of Memphis and Arlington High School, who's having himself a really good year, could be an all-star. Hopefully he can keep it up. He's been slumping a little bit lately, the last 3 or 4 games. But playing on that team that has 8 wins and 42 losses. Unbelievable. Tomorrow morning, the Showboats, their second to last game of the season. Both their final games will be played at the friendly confines of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., they'll take on Arlington. And the Showboats getting a win last Friday night as they won in San Antonio for their second win of the year. And we're very pleased to be joined by our good friend, the Showboats Vice President of Team Business and Events Operation. That is Steve Macy. You can follow Steve on Twitter at Steve Macy. That makes sense. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. You got a couple of home games left. It's an unfortunate situation that the Showboats have been eliminated, but they're coming off a dub. They've been a lot of close calls this year, so it's a team that has, I think, improved from last year and should be a lot of fun out there tomorrow. Hopefully, The weather's going to be iffy overnight. Hopefully that'll stop by the time they kick it off, and we'll have a great day tomorrow.
Yeah, it's yes. Obviously, you'd love to be in the playoff hunt at this point in time, but I think you're right. The improvement of the team during this season, especially, has been easy to see with two, road wins that we've had in the last, including over Birmingham, who's the 3-time champion, and then winning at San Antonio. It's been really fun to see them come away with a couple road W's, and now we get a chance to come back home and hopefully get a couple of victories to end the season here and finish on a strong note. And I think Coach Turner has really, not to kind of throw out a weird term, but Coach Turner's turned it around for this team.
Yeah.
They've beaten the funny enough that the two teams they've beaten, the two teams that played in the championship game last year. But the question is, I guess for Coach, maybe this is more for Coach, how do they go about making sure the game goes to overtime since that's how they win?
Actually, I think it's even more crazy than that. Both games ended 20-20.
Yeah.
The home team scored in the last minute to tie the game, and the Showboats got 2 of the 3 opportunities to score. I mean, the similarity between the two games is almost crazy. So I think once we get to 20, we stop scoring, let the other team get exactly 20, and then go to overtime to win.
Good strategy.
Seems like a good recipe. I mean, it's worked twice. I don't see a problem. It is with Memorial Day weekend. It is the hats off to heroes. What's all going to be going on as far as that is concerned tomorrow?
Yeah, so we're recognize a lot of our military, first responders, and teacher heroes in our lives. Really pay tribute to them. We've got a lot of tickets in their hands. We're going today. Coach Turner, who is a former Marine himself, I guess Marines never say former; they say they are Marine.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So I do not want to mess that up. But we're going to go to the Alpha Omega House and serve dinner to some of our veterans who are experiencing homelessness right now. And Coach Turner and a few players will be there, and he's very excited about this opportunity just to honor our military. And we've continued to push with some of our fan first efforts that Skipper, our mascot, has done. And so we've got kids 12 and under are free, as well as $2 hot dogs and $2 beers.
So has the wheel started to turn already for 2026 and things that you're looking at to improve? Because obviously I think it will go hand in hand with the team improving, and being in the playoff hunt will make a big difference. But you got to look outside the box, and you guys have been doing a great job in doing so, Steve. But when do you start talking to the people that are at the top, the powers to be, about next year and about how to get this thing going even better? Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement to get more fans out there, but when does that talk begin?
And that's already started in earnest. We've already come out with renewals for next year, deposits for next year, already talking about next season. We've had some league meetings already, as we call ourselves the business leads, each of the 8 of us in each of the markets, and we're working hard on our planning for next year. And really, it's 2 parts, right? You're doing a recap from this year, and then what can we improve for next year? That's the 2 pieces of it. And me and my team have already started on that so that we can make sure we hit the ground running, and that, again, like you said, that fan engagement, that fan interest in the game, the fan experience of the game is the best in the league. And we feel like we're already there. But we need to continue to push the envelope and do things that our fans want, and to make it even more fun. Hell, I'd love to have a night game and do fireworks. And that's been on my agenda for a year now. And if we can get that kind of a schedule, we get a couple night games to get fireworks, that'll be the first thing that I do different that we haven't been able to do the last couple of years.
Yeah, maybe one of these times the league will actually cooperate on the schedule. Would really be nice. The kids 12 and under free. For folks that don't know, they want to bring the kids out. How do they get the kids tickets to get them in?
So you can do it one of 2 ways. There is a link on our website at uflshowboats.com where you can order those tickets, and you can get up to 2 kids tickets for every adult ticket. Or you can go to the box office on game day. It's right outside of Gate 1. Just go there, and even if you've already bought your ticket and you say, hey, I've got kids with me and I need them to come in, they'll give you a ticket to allow that kid to come in. It's really simple. We're trying to be as fans first as we possibly can, making things easy for our fans to bring their kids.
So it's 2 kids for every adult ticket.
And if you have more than that, come on and see us at the box office, and they can accommodate more than 2 kids because, like, I have 3, so we wouldn't turn that down. We're absolutely want kids to come. So if you have more than 2, that's perfectly fine. We just can't do it online. You're gonna have to do it in person.
You don't have to tell one of the kids to stay home.
No,
you don't have to pick your favorite. You don't have to pick your 2 favorites.
Yeah, you could certainly decide. You know what? This kid is not coming to the game. Sorry, only 2 kids. Sorry, only 2 kids. You're going to stay home, Johnny.
We'll bring him next week, and then we'll have like some kind of like rock paper scissors for the other one. Steve Macy from the Showboats joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. All right, 2 weeks ago was your last home game, and that was, I think, the first game that you instituted the $2 hot dog, $2 beer, if I'm not mistaken. How did that go?
Yes.
How did that go?
It went really, really well. People were excited about it. In fact, the kind of the rush when the gates opened, they had a CO2 issue at one of the concession stands, and there's a little bit of a panic, and people are like, "Oh no, they're out of the beer." Like, no, they're just changing the CO2. It's all right. There wasn't any foam in there, and the state as always did an awesome job, and they brought some canned beers over to replace it until they could get the canister changed. But it meant that they were selling a lot. It was going fast. So we're excited about all of it. They did a ton of hot dogs, and I think this is just one of the continuous things that we're going to try to do to make that fan experience as great as we can possibly make it. And, you already know that it's going to be a 3-hour game. It moves fast. Halftime's only 12 minutes. These games are built so that you can build your day around it, and this is just another thing that we're doing to make it really easy to decide, hey, I don't have to worry about being hungry and can't afford it. We've some options for you to make it inexpensive. And outside of those $2 things, Greg, we also have a lot of $5 concession items as well. Popcorn, candy, sodas, and waters. I mean, there's a lot of options at $5 and under besides just the $2 one.
Look, I'm a diehard sports fan, so I like all sports, but I really dig what they're doing with the UFL. I watch the games on TV. I go, if I can, to the games here. I mean, obviously, I've had conflicts with my schedule doing baseball, but I'll be there tomorrow. I'm going to the games. I love watching live sporting events. I love what you guys do. We make it easy for people. Selling the product is awfully tough. That's the biggest challenge, as you know. I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. I'll ask you the obligatory question that I'm obligated contractually to ask you every single time you're on. And I don't know if these conversations are happening or it's off the table, but do you see a time when the teams will go to their respective cities instead of the pod?
I do. I just don't know what that timeline is. I think we've got to continue to drive attendance and sponsorships. Those revenue streams are really important for us to be able to overcome the economies of scale that we have by the 8 teams being together in Arlington, and that's just the fact. Now, the flip side of that is that this is the 8th attempt, and we've talked about this a lot. The 8th attempt at pro football here in Memphis. The first time we've had a 3rd season, and next season will be the first time we've had a 4th season. So the sustainability of the league is the most important thing. That part is that's the pillar of which all this is built around. And on top of that, you go, okay, now what are the things that we want to have? Well, we want to have the teams here so that they can be a big part of the community all the time, rather than just the 5 days that we get them before the home games and the couple of other times that we bring coaches and players in the off season. That is obviously the next best thing for us, and that's important to me as a marketing guy at heart. Is I want them here. I want them walking around in town and people getting to know them and to feel them and be around those players and coaches. But the most important thing is for us to continue to have a team. And I think until the revenues can reach that point where we can overcome how much that sustainability would cost us, we're going to continue to have this as the league setup.
All right, so again, if folks want to get tickets for either tomorrow or next week's regular season finale, which will be a Sunday game against Birmingham next week, what is the site? Where do they go for tickets?
Yeah, UFLshowboats.com. UFLshowboats.com. It's got all the information about the games. Tickets are there, merch is there. Everything you want to know is at UFLshowboats.com. And I promise, if you come to the game, you're going to have fun. That's the one thing, win or lose. Showboats games are a lot of fun, and people walk away always telling me, "Man, I wish we'd have won, but we sure did have a great time." And you know what, Eli, I agree with you. We're gonna go 20-20, go into overtime, and win a third game this year.
More drama with the Showboats.
They own the overtime history of the league.
Yes.
Nobody else can claim that.
They've played in the only 2 overtime games. Pretty amazing. He is Steve Macy from the Showboats. He is the Vice President of Team Business and Events Operation. Follow him on Twitter at Steve Macy. Steve, have a great one tomorrow. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, and go Boats. Thank you.
Take care.
With 2 wins in overtime, heck, if they'd never played another overtime game, they may always hold the record for most overtime wins in the UFL.
And the same exact score? Is that what we said? It was 2020.
Going into overtime was the same score in both 2020. Now, they won the one game. The final bid was 24-20. The final was 24-22.
Gotcha.
But going into the overtime, the score was the same.
That's crazy.
Both of those games. Folks, guns. That's what it's about at Classic Arms. With over 700 firearms in stock, anything you're looking for, from small guns to big guns, rifles, shotguns, handguns, new guns, used guns. They do it all at Classic Arms. Not only do they sell guns, but they will also buy. They will also trade. They've got all the top brand names that you're looking for. Plus, they do free gun inspections and free gun appraisals as well. They're the only gun importer here in the Mid-South. They do it all when it comes to guns at Classic Arms. With all the supplies, whether it's a gun case or a safe or ammunition or whatever, they've got you at Classic Arms. You'll find them at 1740 Germantown Parkway. That's right behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. You can find them online as well, classicarmsofmemphis.com, where you can shop 24/7. Anything dealing with firearms, go see the folks at Classic Arms.
You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive vehicle. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and the staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
June is always a month of celebration. People are getting married, people are graduating, and those people need somewhere to do their celebrating. And we offer up Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar. You could take your group to a chain restaurant or bar, but those places don't have a tenth of the charm of Bell Tavern. Chains are sterile and impersonal. Bell Tavern is a cool oasis for most places. Signature cocktails, ice-cold beer, and the friendliest staff in town. This is a chance for you to show off your knowledge of Memphis, to impress out-of-towners by taking them to the coolest bar they've been to in a long time. Unless, of course, they go to Bell Tavern.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics. And no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Mid-South, it's the right time to buy, and the right place is Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. And we're ready to beat the competition on your new ride, so hurry. Get to Gossett Hyundai on the Pike for 2024 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid Limited all-wheel drive. Only $36,921. How about 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT all-wheel drive? We Gossett $37,180. And beautiful 2024 Hyundai Palisade Limited front-wheel drive $44,277. There's only one left at this price, so you've got to hurry. Plus, every Gossett Hyundai comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime at HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
23 MSRP 41,870, Palisade RU 798,741, MSRP 50,184, Santa Cruz RH 126,339, MSRP 42,180, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56. This hour brought to you by Today's Floors once again, and Greg
Good story on Mike Norvell by Pete Nakos from On3 Sports. If you want to check it out, it is talking about the relationship of Mike Norvell with Gus Malzahn as they coached together back at Tulsa. And, of course, this year, Gus Malzahn, longtime head coach in college football, becomes the offensive coordinator for Norvell. I think that combination is going to work out really well. I think it's going to be a huge bounce back. Of course, anything is a bounce back from what happened last year, but I think they're going to be really, really good. I don't think they're going to be as good as Clemson, I don't believe, but I think that combination is going to work.
I think that combination will work if they have really good players.
Really? Are you saying good players make up a team? Look, yes, you have to have the players, and it's Florida State. They're going to have players. Look, last year was a disaster, and it starts with the quarterback. With DJ Uiagalelei, it just did not work out. But I think they're going to bounce back. Norvell's too good a coach. You and I are both in his fan club, and I like Malzahn. So we talked about SGA and what he did last night, 38 points, 8 assists, leading Oklahoma City to a 118-103 win over Minnesota. Not that he needed added ammunition, but I'm sure he had it. A little extra incentive after being awarded before the game the MVP award, the MVP trophy, and handed to him by Adam Silver, who could use a bagel, maybe. Maybe a bagel, maybe a donut. He must weigh, he's what, 6? What is Silver about, 6'6"?
I have no idea.
I mean, he's tall as hell, right? He weighs probably like 72 pounds. I mean, throw in a sandwich maybe every once in a while. But anyway, SGA gets that. 7th straight international player to win the award. Not all different, but still, 7th straight international player wins the NBA MVP. We don't have more great international players than homegrown. But the top of the list, the international players are better. They're better. From Jokic to the Greek Freak to SGA from Canada, the top of the list is better than what we have. Not saying that we don't have great players from the States. Of course we do. But the international players right now at the top are better. Not to even mention, which I will anyway, Wembanyama, who's a future league MVP. No question about it.
The elite players at the top that are winning that award are, it's quite a run for the international group.
Who is the best player from the States right now?
I would say it's either Anthony Edwards or Jason Tatum.
Okay. When did that honor end for LeBron?
2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah, probably I would say somewhere in that kind of range.
I would agree. So here's, it's just one list, But today we'll find out the all-NBA teams and whether or not Jaren Jackson Jr. is a part of it. This is NBA talk, and they're all NBA team predictions. First team, SGA, Jokic, Tatum, Giannis, and Donovan Mitchell. Second team, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Cat, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson. Third team prediction, Evan Mobley, Steph Curry, LeBron James. So you wouldn't have Curry on that list, huh, Elijah?
I would not.
Okay. This is the third team again. LeBron, Steph, Mobley, Alperen Şengün, James Harden. So that list does not include Jaren Jackson Jr. Other candidates, Domantas Sabonis, Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City, maybe Markkanen, but probably behind them. It's going to be close. Unless you got some inside info. I think this is going to be hit or miss.
Yeah, DeMichael talked about for the people he talked about, like James Harden and Şengün are two of those guys that are in that grouping with Jaren. Some people that he's talked to have gone Jaren, some have gone to others. So that's, those are kind of the people that he is dealing with as far as that is concerned on who he's competing with for the final few spots. I still think that he will make it, but I don't. It will be very, very close. Certainly, there's a case to be made for those other guys, and we'll see how it plays out. But I think he will end up making it in there on the third team.
What type of difference are we talking financially with being a Supermax player as opposed to not, and then a new contract, which will obviously have to be struck at some time, even though he's under contract for next season? You want to do it now in the offseason of this year, I would think.
Again, if I don't know because if he doesn't make that, if he's not eligible for the Supermax, they have to basically renegotiate the last year of his deal in order to be able to give him raises. In a lot of ways, it would make more sense for him to wait to become a free agent to do
really?
it. So,
Okay.
but without the Supermax on the table, it is a much way above my head as to what they're able to do and what they're able to do for next year that allows them to create the raises that they need to get him to a thing that would, I guess, be satisfactory for him. But I don't. It is a massive, massive difference from Supermax to what he could do.
He would become a restricted free agent, right? Where Memphis can match next summer.
No, he would be an unrestricted.
He would be unrestricted. That's dangerous. That is really dangerous. And, we never talk about how the big three, the core three, they'll say things when interviewed publicly about the team. But, I wonder down deep inside what they are thinking, especially when Zach Kleiman says what he said. I'm glad he did because he was right with what he said in the exit interviews. But I wonder if they look at it and go, no, we could win here. I want to stay here. Or maybe the grass is greener somewhere else. Maybe I want to leave. So we never really get that inside insight from these players.
Well, the key in any of the free agency or stuff like that, the grass might be greener, but the money's bigger here. So that's what wins out.
The real green,
the real green is bigger because the Grizzlies can pay him more than anybody else. So if it gets to free agency, they can still pay more than anybody else. So if they want to keep him, they will.
Can you think of a player, and I know it's happened, but right off the top of your head, that turned down more money to stay, to go somewhere else where they thought they had a better chance to win a title? Like, is there somebody Elijah, anybody that just jumps right out? Because we always talk about with NIL now, they're always going to go to the highest bidder, and then we always think about that in the NBA.
In the NBA, generally, you do the sign and trade. You end up signing. You get the money and out at the same time. You tell them you want to get out, and they work out a sign and trade for you.
That's true. All right, Knicks Pacers tonight. Knicks 6.5-point favorite. Do the Knicks even it up?
They better.
They better. And I think they will. Elijah, what do you got?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they run away with it tonight.
Total, by the way, 225.5. If you go with Indiana on the money line, you're getting plus 210. That's going to do it for us today and this week. I want to thank you folks, as always. We appreciate you listening, your calls, your texts. Again, we do it for you, and we're glad that you're with us. Some people have been with us the entire 20-plus years that we've been together. Our thanks to John Varlas, to Ben Johnson, to Steve Macy for joining us on the show. We'll reschedule Brandon Marcello hopefully for some time next week. No show on Monday because of Memorial Day. Enjoy the 3-day holiday with your families and think about all those who have served our country and have fallen to protect this great country of ours. We're back Tuesday morning, starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. Once again, Brian Dacus and Elijah Seegers in for Wolo. So for Eli and Elijah, I'm Greg. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.